Traders, this handsome fella here, Crispin, made $235 million shorting the pound back in 2016, okay? And he has a good trade idea going the opposite direction that aligns with ours, which is amazing, okay? Let's talk about it. Roll the intro. All right, traders, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Top Trader channel. It's your head trader here, Cleveland Bishop. Hope you guys are having a fantastic start off to the week. It's Tuesday. Markets are just now closing for the US dollar. I'm trying to get this out as soon as possible. Not much has gone on so far, okay? So we're gonna have ample time to catch some of the movement that we are expecting later on, maybe Thursday or Friday this week, okay? So guys, look, if you're new to the channel, welcome, guys. All right, we're almost at 30,000 subscribers. We're moving pretty quick. Excited to have you here. And if you guys enjoy the content, if you like it, if it makes you feel more confident in your trading, like the video for your boy. I really do appreciate it. Okay, so there's been a lot going on. All right, last week we had some trade ideas regarding the dollar based on CPI. I'm gonna roll a clip real quick of what we were talking about last week in regards to CPI, how we were expecting it to be under the expected number, which it was, all right, and what we thought that would do to the markets. Okay, take a look at this.
And I decided to come out here today just to see the reaction of people's faces, because they're all thinking the same thing, guys. Is consumer price index going to meet expectations this week? They're worried. We're all worried, okay? Because if it doesn't, nothing's really going to happen. Now, why is that the case? Mostly because people have been expecting and been targeting really low numbers in regards to consumer price index, PPI. People have been expecting these really low numbers for the past 4 or 5 months now.
So outside of CPI that came out last week, there was PPI, there was retail sales, right? A lot of the retail consumer data releases come out during the middle of the month. And just like I expected, we didn't get too much of an undersized move in regards to, yes, expectations were lower than expected. The actual was lower than the expectations, but markets didn't start to gyrate, or you didn't get any kind of outside massive move. So take a look at this real quick. I'll show you. If you take a look at the Euro USD last week, again, you don't see too much of a price move in regards to something being outlandish. Yes, CPI is a massive report, but outside of CPI being such a massive report, all you had was this little stutter step going on here. So you see that we did get a pretty intraday substantial move, right? Right now I'm on the daily, okay? So you can see that there was a lot of volatility, but this market turned right back around and we're now trading back to the upside here. Now, yes, this is predominantly dollar weakness in regards to this market turning back to the upside, all right? But at the end of the day, this market sold off quite dramatically. All right, now look, we do think right now, myself, Kyle, or some of the senior traders, we do think that there is a very large likelihood that we could start to see this euro seriously turn around, all right? And this is what we have been expecting, okay? We've been wanting to see this euro continue to test this level here at the $12.30s, only for it to turn around and break back to the upside. Of course, that first target looks like it'll be somewhere around the $14 mids, $14.30s, okay? This is the consolidation, guys, we have been in. This is a daily. This is the consolidation we have been in since November, okay? That's quite interesting. So are we getting retail sales numbers ticking down? Yes. Is unemployment rising? Yes. And so all of these factors are coming together for traders to start to rationalize that this dollar may be at the extent of its labor market, right? We hit a low at 3.6% in regards to the unemployment rate. That's the lowest in decades and decades and decades, right? And usually when we get to that 3.6% level, we bounce right back up and start getting back into the fours until a recession happens, okay? So I'm not saying recession's happening, but most analysts, most large institutions are forecasting some type of recession over a 50% likelihood in the next 5 years. So again, with the euro being as beat up as it has, all right, as it has been, and the dollar getting stronger and stronger and stronger here, real quick, just want to show you guys, let's establish the weekly time frame. Okay, let's see where this dollar has came from. All right, so again, the euro was trading up relative to the dollar. The euro was trading at $1.25. And right now, folks, we're sitting at $1.12. So that's literally a 13-cent move. Sorry, about 11 to 13-cent move down to the lows here. Okay, and so what that means for us is that's 1,300 pip sell-off. Okay, so that's all dollar strength. All right, the dollar getting stronger and stronger and stronger. We did not get a chance to hit back off on the 2015 and 2016 lows. We settled back on those highs, if you guys can notice that here, right? So if I pull up in a little support level. You guys can see markets did come in and support that structure. And so this is why a lot of market participants think that this is going to be an amazing buying opportunity, because with the dollar at its extent, in regards to it being priced in fully, all of the strength, right? We're slowing rates down. Okay, we raised rates 4 times last year. We're only expected to raise rates 2 times this year. Rates are interest rates. I've made so many videos on interest rates. If you guys need help on interest rates, you need to understand interest rates more, take the fundamental quiz. Okay, there's a fundamental quiz in the bio. You guys can learn all about all the different types of fundamental catalysts and drivers just by testing your knowledge. And of course, the better you score, the more likely you are going to be able to understand this information. Okay, but outside of that, we are looking for this thing to turn around. Most analysts, professional analysts, are also looking for this thing to turn around. So that's something we're going to keep an eye on. The reason I bring it up is because from the euro perspective, just like I was saying earlier, the euro has been beat up and beat up and beat up. Okay, you have things happening in Italy. You have the situation happening with Brexit, which is 100% affecting euro, maybe by 500 pips. Brexit get resolved, you may see the euro fly along with Brexit back to the upside. Okay, so yes, there's a massive opportunity for Brexit. We're about to touch on that. But folks, this is just as massive of an opportunity here in regards to playing the euro strength and potentially playing some of this dollar weakness, this dollar turning around a bit. Okay, so this is stuff we're taking a look at. Now, I do want to talk about Brexit, and then after Brexit, we're going to talk about the Japanese yen. So let's pull up this fella here one more time. He's a good guy. There he is, Crispin O'Day. Okay, so Crispin had a bet back. I'll put the link to this article. It's a Bloomberg article. It's really good, really informative. Crispin had a bet that before Brexit, right before the vote, that there was going to be a massive selling of the pound if they left the European Union. This fellow wagered 14% of all of his assets on this particular move. He leveraged that wager. He leveraged his 14% 10 times. So he had a total of 140% of his total assets on this one individual trade. Okay, my top traders know that is close to insane, but there's a rule called the Kelly principle, which states basically if you ever are in a scenario where the odds are in your favor, where the likelihood of success is absurd, what are you going to do in that instance? You're going to put more capital in that scenario. It's kind of like betting the Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins. Okay, if that team ever got together, the odds would be absolutely insane, right? Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. It's obvious Floyd Mayweather is going to win that fight. If you thought Conor McGregor was going to win that fight, you're an absolute moron, okay? Same thing here, okay? Crispin said it's obvious that Brexit is going to leave the European Union. These people have no rational idea. Again, he wasn't really looking at it from a political perspective. He was looking at it from an ideological perspective. Meaning that, hey, people feel a certain type of way about immigration. People feel a certain type of way about free trade and all these things, okay? He was basing it off of an ideological standpoint, right? Think about what was happening in 2016, right? This was around the time Trump was scaling into his presidency. This was right around the time that Marine Le Pen and Macron was going for their presidency over in France. Again, this was also, around the time where you see a lot more right-wing politicians and political forces coming into existence. Okay, so from that standpoint of nationalism, okay, French nationalism, US nationalism, from that standpoint, his idea was, I think that trend's going to continue, right? So again, this is how you want to play fundamentals. He's a genius at being able to look at the fundamentals, not from what they're saying from a data perspective, but what they're saying from a psychological perspective. All right, so very interesting stuff. Now, what's his idea right now? His idea that there might be a resurgence of capital going back into the pound. Let's take a look at the pound real quick. I'm sorry, Crispin, you're a good looking dude, but we gotta get you off of my freaking screen. All right, so take a look at this. Here's the pound. We're on a weekly right now, okay? You guys can see we got Brexit here. Brexit sold off massively. We were sitting at $1.44. Okay, right now we're sitting at $1.31. All right, $1.30 and some change. All right, so we're about 1,400 pips away from the original point at which Brexit happened. Now, what's that mean for us? Guys, what that means is there's a lot of upside. Remember, this is the GBP USD, so you also have some dollar strength factored into this currency pair. So what that also means is that we're not even really close to where we are even here, right? So the dollar strength is making this market, is giving this a little bit of a boost as well, okay? So if we zero in a bit, we can see that we did make a high in 2019, and all last week and even this week, we have been somewhat consolidating and now turning around in that high. Take a look at what we saw the pound do just today. We're seeing the pound move completely around. It sold off back to this particular base, which we talked about last week, and now we're pushing back up into structure here. So that's extremely interesting. What I'm gonna do, I want you guys to take a look at a segment that we came out with last week. I think it was in today's markets, or it might have been in the Monday market breakdown. I make so much content for the team, I forget. Take a look at what we said here about the pound, or where we thought the pound could potentially sell off back down into structure, hold those levels, and then push back up into itself. All right, take a look at this. Markets run sell side and then bounce back up into structure. That's something that we can look for, or we get an even more exaggerated price move sell side, and then we get a break back up into structure in this capacity. This is the exact same level that we thought this market would trade back down into, and look at the resurgence of capital you're seeing in regards to the market pushing back up into structure now. Right, you guys can't find this, right? This isn't just some currency pair. This is the pound index, proprietary pound index that we created. So you guys have access to the dollar index. We have access to every single currency's index, okay? And so this allows us to see the true strength or weakness of any currency pair. So we got to see the pound pushing up into structure. We get to see the pound selling off, and now we got to see the pound consolidate and push back up into structure. Again, you guys can have access to this inside of the Top Trader Academy. But we do think that we are going to make a 2019 high. Now, is it going to come off of this current extension? Maybe not, maybe not. We're not saying now that the market is about to rip, okay? But all we're saying is we did think that we would get some type of consolidation. Now, what would be good for you guys or anyone else that is not currently in this move is to see markets hopefully maybe take a breather, rest somewhere around this structure up here. Pretty simple stuff. Rest somewhere around this structure up here. All right, turn over a bit. You just don't want a massive momentous blowout here, right? So rest a bit. Let's see, pull back down in the structure there, somewhat like that, and then see the market break back up into the consolidation. So this is somewhat what we're waiting on. Any of our traders that aren't currently in this move, this is the setup that we're somewhat looking at the moment as well, okay? And the biggest reason why we're going to be eyeing the pound exclusively over the next few weeks is because that May 2nd vote that we think, if pushed back, you will see this pound soar to the upside. Why is that the case? Well, remember what we said. We mentioned that a rejection vote is going to have the pound soar to the upside. Guys, look what happened when the vote was rejected. This was a rejection here. This was Theresa May failing to get her Brexit proposal of her leaving the European Union. This was her getting it passed, not getting it passed here, right? Why did we get such a momentous run back up into structure? Because, guys, they needed to fail so that they could go back to base, go back to square one and create a better plan, all right? So market participants looked at that as a buying opportunity, because the more time they have to create something, the better the odds that they're going to be able to create something that passes legislation. So we saw markets sell off a little bit, of course, because guess what? That was all speculatory. This entire buy up into structure was nothing more than people assuming that the Brexit vote was going to come to be better. Once we got to that high, a lot of that ambitiousness went away because there wasn't too much going on. So you had a little bit of market participants taking profit. So some of the intermediary market participants that weren't looking to hold this move out to, maybe we're seeing markets trade all the way back to the upside. Some of the market participants who didn't want to do that, well, they got out a lot sooner than you would expect. So when we saw markets turn around and come back down into the structure, that's when we assumed, okay, this may be another great buying opportunity to see markets back down in this low. Okay, so again, we think that there is still a lot of upside potential in regards to this pound. You guys can see here, this is the 2018 high. All right, we have so much room to run. If you want to go back to 2016, you guys have to come all the way back over to this particular high right here. And look how low it is in scale. All right, that is absolutely insane. Here's Brexit. Here's just a massive amount of selling, but here's Brexit right here, okay? So we have a lot of upside left. there's a lot of opportunity here. This is why the big fellow who I showed on the screen earlier, this is why he wants to see this pair or this particular currency turn around, because he's noticing that currently right now it's still at an 18% discount relative to where it was before Brexit. All right, so it's very interesting stuff. We're going to be keeping an eye on it. I want you guys to also, of course, be keeping an eye on it, and we're going to be coming out with content later on this week. If anything insane happens, you guys need to come here first. Make sure you have your post notifications on, because anything can go down in this particular market, and we want you guys to know what exactly is going on. Okay, so outside of that, we do want to keep an eye out on the JPY. The Japanese yen has been selling off massively. This is the last thing I want to talk about. Show you guys real quick what we're looking like on the JPY. Again, this is not a currency pair, guys. This is the Japanese index, okay? Look at how the Japanese index was hitting off on these lows over and over and over again. You won't see this on any other currency pair, all right? Well, right now, yesterday, we just hit an all-time low in regards to our 2019 low here, right? We're at the lowest point in 2019. And we do still think that as long as the risk in this global market starts to turn around a bit, we do think that this market will eventually start to trade all the way back down into structure. So that means for us, if we go take a look at the USD JPY, if you go take a look at the Euro JPY, you will see those currencies trading to the upside. Okay, all Japanese crosses should be somewhat at their highs right now. We think those are going to continue, so we might be looking at a breakout style methodology, trend continuation style methodology for the Japanese yen, since it likes to flow in that manner. All right, so guys, look, action-packed, tons of information, decent amount of fundamentals coming out this week. Moreover, a lot of political noise happening, which affect our markets just as dramatically as the catalyst, the economic catalyst. So you got to pay attention to all of it. All right. And if you guys, again, need any help, want to learn a little bit more about fundamentals, take the quiz. It's in the bio. It's going to help you rationalize a little bit more about where you are right now. And then the better you score on the quiz, the more obviously you know. Okay, so that's going to be awesome. Guys, look, tomorrow I do want to come out with a trader tips. I really want to talk about currency risk and how you guys can potentially avoid it. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.